Welcome back to The Race. A company says its database can identify police officers who are more likely to use excessive force. Alexa Liaco asked how they can accurately identify the officers and get them off the streets.
10-4, 10-9 the location.
Officer Asia Ellis has patrolled these streets for 9 years.
Stolen vehicle.
With every call, she has one mission.
Hey, there's not a lot of trust. You want a hug? All right, how are you? My goal was to try to change the perception. How old is she? 2.5. 2.5, oh, I was 7-year-old.
It's a challenge across the country, but in the city of Harvey especially, trust between an officer and the community they serve is hard to build.
A couple years ago the department was raided by the FBI. There had been several officers that were indicted. There's a history here that we can't hide from, and we know and we acknowledge that it exists. But we want to make sure we take the necessary steps to make those corrections. This is not the same old Harvey.
With the department's new direction comes new technology.
To weed the bad ones out.
The department now has an early intervention system for officer behavior run by Chicago company Benchmark Analytics.
Intervene long before you have very problematic incidents.
The program collects all kinds of data on officers.
Injuries to subjects in custody, warrantless searches, civil or administrative complaints.
Once this information is compiled, it flags officers who may be at risk for more serious misconduct in the future.
The system will allow us to look at that, bring this officer in, identify one if he needs to be retrained, or identify if there needs to be discipline, and sometimes, and unfortunately, it might lead to termination.
Ellis sees this intervention not only as a chance to change the culture for police.
You may get that coworker that you don't sometimes want to work with because of maybe their attitude or maybe how they handle things. You'll get to a scene and they just blow it up. It gives us an opportunity to have better coworkers.
She also sees it as a way to earn respect from her community.
They're seeing that, hey, something's being done about this, this bad officer that we're complaining about. Maybe we can trust him a little bit more.
But experts warn with all the improvements technology like this can bring, come limitations.
They can ignore it on the system just like they can ignore it if it's sitting in a drawer.
For Officer Ellis, she knows in the end it will take more than just data to reform a department.
It's going to take some while, but I'm willing to stand in the fight.
Real change that may come more quickly with a little help.
We have a duty and obligation to explore any method, any means to make ourselves better so that we can better serve the community.
For The Race, I'm Alexa Liaco.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Companies know getting their employees back to work is key to thriving. That includes keeping staff employed. Maya Rodriguez looks at new technology that aims to make it safer to be at work.
It looks like something out of science fiction. A portal made up of ultraviolet lights designed to kill an enemy you can't see.
That's kind of the first layer of protection that we've implemented.
Christian Pinkston heads up his own strategic communications firm. 50 employees usually work within this 16,000 square foot office, but at the moment, it's far fewer.
Right now, it's dark and lonely.
So Pinkston decided to turn to new technology to try and create a safer workspace for when his employees return, starting with that portal of UV lights.
Every guest or staff member will walk through. You do kind of a slow turn.
The technology takes off from there. There are ultraviolet lights in the ceiling at a level safe for humans, but deadly to viruses. And there's titanium dioxide, a compound sprayed on everything here and said to self-disinfect any surface for up to a year. Plus, there's now a real-time air monitoring system installed. Researchers at Columbia University found that specialized UV lights like these could eradicate 2 seasonal types of airborne coronaviruses. But what about the rest of the tech?
There's not enough data yet to know what's safe and what's effective.
Dr. Donald Milton is a professor of occupational health at the University of Maryland.
I am thinking a lot about, what kind of investments make sense to try to protect people in workplaces.
He says it's understandable for people to turn to technology as a coronavirus fix. But the eventual solution, he says, will require more.
It's going to be a combination of figuring out which technologies do work in the workplace, getting good ventilation in workplaces, getting air sanitation, having good cleaning practices.
Back at the office, Pinkston says it's all worth the investment of tens of thousands of dollars.
It's a huge effort.
One that might be required of other workplaces if this all proves to be effective. In Falls Church, Virginia, I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
The race continues next.